Hey, how's it going, guys? So in today's step-by-step tutorial video, we're going to be going through this automation right here. This automation will take any YouTube creators' videos, getting all that information you want, and then having the ability to chat with those transcripts via a RAG chatbot system. We're going to run through this workflow step by step. I'll show you how to build it. And if you like, you can set up a simple RAG chatbot just like this. I'll have the link down below to my school community. If you want to download these templates and download these workflows, you'll have access to all of my templates over there. My school community is called Digital Automation Diagram. I'm all about showing you how to build awesome automations for your workflow, business, and just cool tools to get stuff done. So let's jump into the build. All right, so here we are in a blank n8n canvas. I've named this workspace. This is the one that will be available for download once we finish building this one together. Got the link for n8n in the description of this video. If you want to click on that link, try out n8n for free. You can jump into this project with me right here. So first thing, I'm going to click the big plus to create the first node. This will be a schedule node. We can run this one on a schedule, check for YouTube transcripts, and grab all the transcripts that have come through. So I'm just going to leave this schedule set to the default. This will run every day at midnight. I'll click outside of this node or click on back to canvas. We've got our schedule. Let's click the plus to create the next node. Type in set or edit fields. This will be the edit fields node. And we can click into this add input field to manually create a new field here. So for this first name, I'll name this account, and for the value, you can put in any YouTube handle from any YouTube creator that you want to scrape transcripts from. For this video, we're going to be using one YouTube handle hard-coded in here, but you can add as many YouTube handles as you want. You can arrange this to be a list of handles. That way you're getting all of the information from all of the transcripts that you're looking for. For this tutorial, we're going to be scraping videos from my account. Let's go ahead, click on test step. This will run that schedule node. We'll get that schedule data coming through when this ran, and we'll have this set node setting the account to that handle. Click outside of the node, click the plus to create the next node. This will be an HTTP node. We can type in HTTP, find the HTTP request node. Now you can fill out this node exactly as I have here. I'm just going to jump over to my school community to reference what I've entered into these fields, but you'll be able to just copy and paste what I enter in here. This is the one we want right here, Rapid API, get YouTube account. So I'm just going to copy all this information over to the node. For the method, we need the get method. For the URL, jump back into school. I'm going to copy this URL right here. Back into n8n, I'll paste that URL into this URL field. For headers, we need to send headers. I'll toggle that on. Let's jump back into school. Send headers equal to true. For the first header name, I'll copy this name right here. Jump back into n8n, paste the name in n8n there. For the value, let's grab this value right here, calling to the YouTube Data API v3, paste that in the value right there. Now we need to add a parameter. Click add a parameter. Let's add the second header. Scroll down, grab this name, back into n8n, just flipping back and forth to copy and paste all this information. You can paste everything I have here, and I'll blow up the URL in 1 second just so we can see it. So for the value for this name, we need the Rapid API key for the YouTube API. Okay, so we're gonna have to jump over to Rapid API. First, let's look at this URL just so you can see it. I'll blow it up here. There's the URL, and if this section is not green for you right here, you can delete out this green section, come over to your input. From the edit fields node, we can drag this account over here just past the equals and drop it down just like that. I'm going to close outside of this expression field and jump into Rapid API. Okay, here we are in Rapid API. You can create your free account here. I'm going to click into the search bar, type in YouTube, and hit enter on the keyboard. This will pop up a bunch of different YouTube APIs. The one we're looking for, if we scroll down, is the YouTube Data API v3. Here it is, the official all-in-one YouTube Data API v3 by this creator right here. I'm going to click on that API, and this will bring you to your information page here. Now you can see your Rapid API key right here. You can also see your Rapid API key right here. What you need to do is come click this button. It's going to say something like subscribe to test or something like that. Click this button and it'll bring you to some kind of page like this. So we're going to be using the basic plan. You can start this plan right here. Once you've done that, you can head back to the data API and copy your API key. Copy that key, keep it somewhere safe. We're going to need that API key back in n8n. I'm gonna jump back over to n8n and paste my API key into this value right here, and we can test the step. So I hit that test step button and exited out of the node. We can see we've got that account information coming through. I'm gonna come up here to save the workflow. We're going to duplicate this node just to reuse some of the information. I'll right click on it, click on duplicate, drag that node, drop it down right there, and plug the route handle into the back of this node. I'll double click into this node, and for the URL, I'll just delete this one out, jump into school and copy this URL right here. Let's jump back into n8n and paste that URL right there. I'll expand this out just so you can see it. Now you can copy this entire URL, take a screenshot of it, throw it in ChatGPT, have ChatGPT write it out for you. Now there's a hidden setting in here we can take a look at. That is this max results. And you can see I have the max results set to 100. That means this URL is going to pull 100 videos from each of the YouTube handles you have listed in here. For this demo, we're just using one YouTube handle. I'm using my own YouTube handle, so it's going to pull in up to 100 videos. I don't think I have 100 long form videos yet. So you can change this setting right here. Just change this number to whatever max results you want to get. Now, keep in mind, this one will hit your rate limits pretty quickly, getting the actual YouTube transcripts for these videos. So you may want to reduce your max results. In this case, let's just say 5 videos. Change max results to 5. Now, if this green part right here for you is not green, we can just delete out this green part. I'm going to put in a couple spaces here just so we can see it. And what we need is the ID from our last HTTP node. I'm going to click and drag the ID, drop it down right after this channel ID equals, and we've got that green part back in there. Now, just to demonstrate that, I added in these spaces. I'll delete out these spaces. We don't want any extra white space inside of this URL. That will throw an error. I'm going to click outside of this expression window. Now you want to make sure you have your same API key in this value right here, and click on test step. There we go. Now we have 5 videos coming back from that handle. If I switch over to the schema view, we can see that, and you can browse down, make sure those 5 videos are coming in here. What I'm looking for is simply the titles of each video. Great. I'm going to click outside the node. Let's click the plus to create the next node. Type in split. This will be the split out node. We're going to separate those 5 videos. In the input over here, we have an array of items. If I just collapse each of these items, you can see that we have 5 items, 0 through 4. That is the results we got back. So we're going to grab the items array and drop it down right there and click test step. Now you can see we have 5 items coming through. Let's click outside of this node, click the plus to create the next node. This will be an edit fields node. And for the edit fields node, we're going to map in some of these values, just clean things up to make it look a little bit better and get our data looking nice. So first I want to add in the channel ID here. I can grab the channel ID, drop it down. I'll rename it channel ID. Let's grab the video ID, drop it in there. I'll name it video ID. Let's get the published at time right here. Grab this one and drop it down. Let's rename it published at. Then we'll get the video title. Grab that and rename it title. Click test step. Now from all of this information coming through, all we've got is the relevant data for each of the videos coming through. I'll click outside of the node, scroll around my canvas a little bit. Now the next node is going to be another HTTP node. We're going to change it up quite a bit, but let's go ahead and duplicate this HTTP node right here. I'll right click on it, click duplicate, grab that node, drop it down right here and plug the route handle into the back of it right there. Same thing, I'm going to jump over to school to populate all of the data in here. I'll double click into it, We're going to delete out this URL field. All right, let's jump over to school. And we want this one right here. Rapid API get YouTube transcripts. So I'm going to grab this URL, copy that, jump back into n8n, paste it into the URL. I'll just go ahead and blow this up so you can see it. Copy this, take a screenshot if you need to. I'll exit out of this expression window. Now for this one, we need to toggle on send query parameters. Hit that button there. Let's jump back into school. Check out what we need here. Send query parameters. First name will be video ID. I'll copy that back into n8n, paste that for the name. For the value, let's grab that right here, copy that back into n8n. I'll paste that right there. Now what this value is actually the video ID straight from the edit fields node. So you can drag and drop this video ID straight from here into the value there. And I'm going to jump back into school, just double check we have everything. So send headers equal to true. We have our header values here. So this first header for the value, we need to get this other API right here, the YouTube transcriptor API. So we'll jump back over to Rapid API in a second. I'm going to copy this value right here, come back into n8n, scroll down and replace the YouTube data API. We're using a different API to get the transcription. You're going to keep your API key just like that. Now under options, we need to click on add option, choose response, under response format, and set this to JSON. So let's go set up the YouTube transcriptor API. I'm going to jump back into Rapid API. In the search bar here, I'll type YouTube transcriptor. Now that's just what this one is named here. So we want to make sure we're grabbing this one, YouTube transcriptor. That'll get you your information. Same thing, you'll come up here, click on the button to subscribe to test or something like that, whatever that says, to choose your basic free plan with this API. Once this one is set up, let's jump back into n8n and we can hit test step. Great. I'm going to slide down, click the plus to create the next node. First, let's save the workflow. And actually, before we go too far, we're going to add another route to this HTTP node. So I'm going to double click back into it. Let's come into the settings tab here. Drop this down on error and we'll say continue using error output. Click outside of the node. Now we have an error route and a success route. That's just good practice for error handling in case a video does not get transcribed. You can see that coming down the error route and process that a bit differently. For now, I'm going to click and drag this handle out, type in do nothing. We have a blank operation node right here. That way we'll see all of those errors just coming into this do nothing node in case we get any of those errors. For our success route, let's click and drag this out, type in split. This will be the split out node. And we've got all that stuff coming through from our HTTP request node. I'm going to scroll down to the transcription. Now, what's great about using this API is it comes out with all of these snippets and you have timestamps for all of these snippets. So you can get a ton of information through with the timestamps from each of these transcription sections here. So there's going to be a ton of these transcription sections, little snippets with their timestamps. What I'm going to do is actually collapse this transcription array, and we want the transcription as text. This will just be the entire text all in one piece. Grab that, drop it down into the split out node, click on test step, and now we've got our 5 transcriptions split out. I'm going to click outside the node. All right, for the next node, we're going to be dumping these transcripts into Supabase. Let's click the plus, type in Supabase vector store, and we want the Supabase vector store. And we want to add documents to vector store. Click on that. Now we can jump over to Supabase and get our vector store set up. Here I am in my Supabase account. You can create a free account, get set up with Supabase. So setting up a vector store here is a little bit tricky. I have another tutorial on setting up Supabase with n8n. You can check out that tutorial, setting up Supabase with n8n. I dive a little bit more into using SQL and how we're actually creating the tables the right way, but we're going to run through this pretty quickly in this video. So first we have to create a Supabase credential. I'm going to come over here to settings. In the settings, down to data API. This is your Supabase URL, and this is your service role secret. We're going to need both of these to set up your credential with n8n. So first I'll copy my Supabase URL, jump into n8n, and we can create a new credential. So I'll drop this down here, click on create new credential and paste in my URL right here for the host. For the service role secret, let's jump back over there to Supabase, and you'll need to reveal your secret key, copy it, and then paste it. I'll go ahead and do that. Back in n8n, I copied my service role secret key and I'll paste it right here. Now we can name this credential. You can name yours whatever you want and save it. Great, I'll close down this window and we have our credential set up, but now we need to create our table, our actual vector database here. And this is the tricky part. So I'm gonna jump into the docs right here, scroll down a little way, and we need this quick start for setting up your vector store. Click on that. This is the SQL code we need to set up a vector store. So I'm just gonna copy this SQL right here, click the button to copy this. Let's jump into Supabase. Now from this screen, we can jump over to this tab right here for the SQL editor. Go ahead and just paste in that entire SQL right there. Come down here and click run. That should say success, no rows returned, and we can jump over to our tables view over here. Click on the table editor. We've got that new table called documents. Now this is already set up from that SQL. It automatically created all the fields we need, the metadata, the embedding, all of this stuff is ready to go. So we can jump back over to n8n. Now we can choose that table from this list right here. I'm going to drop this down and find documents. That is the new table that was set up. Now for this vector store node, we also need to add an embedding node and a document loader. So let's click the plus here to create this embedding node. This is a list of the embeddings. I'm going to stick with OpenAI, but if you use one of these services, you can add any embeddings node you want here. Let's stick with OpenAI for this video. I'm gonna select my credential. Now same thing here, you'll have to create your credential with OpenAI. I have a tutorial on setting up your OpenAI credential. If you don't know how to do that, you can jump into my school community and watch that tutorial. Otherwise, you can drop this down, click on create new credential, and open the docs right here to set up your own credential. I'm gonna click outside of this node. Now we're right here in the workflow. I'm gonna rearrange these nodes a little bit. Click the plus here to add the document loader. These are the available document loaders. I'm going to use the default data loader, and this default data loader needs a text splitter node. So I'm going to click the plus there to create a text splitter node and choose the recursive character text splitter. What this one does will break your documents and your text into chunks, and we can set an overlap size. For this example, let's use a chunk size of 500 and an overlap of 100. I'm going to click outside of the node. Now we can test this step here and get all that data loaded into Supabase. I'm going to click the little play button here to test the step. You can watch this one run through and load all that data from our YouTube transcripts into Supabase. There we go. Let's jump into Supabase, see what we got going on over there. I'll refresh the page, and there it is. All of that data, all of that text from those transcripts populated into 750 records. Each of these records is a chunk that was separated by that recursive character text splitter into 500 characters and organized neatly via the embeddings and metadata. Jump back into n8n, guys. That is it for this tutorial. That is how you can set up a YouTube transcription automation, loading all that data into a Supabase vector store. I'm gonna go ahead and save the workflow. Now, just to test this one out, I'm gonna bring in another workflow. I set this one up over here off camera. This is a very simple RAG chatbot to interact with that vector store just to test and see if it works. If you want to get this simple RAG chatbot, I have the links to my school community to download these templates for free. Once you join my community, you'll have access to all of my automation workflows, all of these templates, and you can grab this one from there. Or if you want to check out my other YouTube video, I go a lot more in depth on how to set up Supabase nodes with n8n, getting Supabase organized, and a step-by-step build on how to create this chatbot just like this. But for this video, I'm just going to bring this one in here to test out our brand new workflow here and interact with our data. So I'm going to open up the chat and just ask some simple questions. I don't even really know what to ask it. I'll say, what can you tell me from the docs? Now the chatbot will search the docs and just come up with some examples from that information that it's gathering. So here we can see the documentation appears to cover various aspects of digital automation, AI assistant prompts, workflow management, field customization, tool interaction. So it's just gathering information from those 5 transcripts and relating back some examples of what it can tell me. I'll just ask a very conversational question. Do you have anything on setting up Supabase with n8n? We have some information coming back, configuring n8n, setting up file interactions, implementing automation. So chatbot is working, which means all of that data that we inserted into Supabase is working correctly. You can continue to gather transcripts from any YouTube creators you want, load them into your knowledge base, and your chatbot or RAG system will continue to get smarter and smarter the more that database is filled out. Thanks again for watching this video, guys. If you want to learn more about building automations, you can join my school community. If you want more use cases and applications of what this system can do, we can definitely chat about that and how we can integrate this into your own workflows, into your own systems, and utilize a knowledge base from YouTube transcripts. Let me know in the comments what you think, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in the school group. And there it is, guys. Hope you enjoyed this video. Be sure to check out my other YouTube videos and join my school community if you want to learn more. We get a lot more in depth. I can help you one-on-one. You can ask questions to the group and book calls with me. We can work on your automation builds together, or you can post up in the troubleshooting section. I'm very active in the group, answering people's questions, working out issues, and making sure that all of your problems are solved with all of your automation builds. So I look forward to seeing you in the group, and I'll see you in the next video.